Yo, what's up? Welcome back to Reviews with Jake, where I just got done watching Malcolm and Marie on Netflix. Malcolm and Marie is the story about a filmmaker and his wife who come home after his new movie premiere. They spend the next couple hours laughing, celebrating, having sex, fighting, getting really personal, and making mac and cheese. The fact that this is Hollywood's first film that was fully produced, fully financed, fully shot, fully edited, fully everything during the pandemic is, well, fitting. Because I feel like the world in general did just that during quarantine. Minus the celebrating. Not a lot of celebrating. Replace the celebrating with more mac and cheese. I actually had no idea going in that that was the case. It wasn't until after I finished watching the movie that it dawned on me that this was a COVID movie. I've been keeping a watchful eye on everything getting released, especially recently, to see was this scene filmed during or after quarantine and the pandemic? I've just been fascinated to see how this is all going to affect the things that we've been watching. I'm constantly battling this every single day at work with clients. Do you want masks worn in this scene? No? Okay, then how can we accomplish this safely? Same thing goes with my personal film side of things. I have like 1,000 different stories and concepts that I would love to film, but they just sit on the shelf collecting dust because they can't be filmed in a COVID world. I've actually been racking my brain recently trying to come up with more COVID-friendly scripts because I'm just getting the itch. I want to film something. So after watching this movie in the exact same headspace, I ask myself, did they do the exact same shit that I'm doing right now to come up with this concept? 2 people, 1 location? That minimalist mentality is the most sensible thing to do in a crazy time like this. So taking 2 very talented actors, give them a lot of baggage, let them hash it out on screen for our viewing pleasure? Not a bad play. And release it around Valentine's Day? That is a brilliantly sinister plan. I could have reviewed this for last week and I thought about it, but that's what the man wants me to do. I'm not a part of this system. Phonies. The pros start with this being a damn good looking film. For starters, the black and white treatment of the footage was very well done and a very wise choice. To pull off the black and white look, especially to this degree, this successfully, you can't just decide after the fact that you want your film to be black and white. You need to decide that before you are shooting and light it all very intentionally. The use of contrast, lights, darkness, all of it comes into play and you need to be very methodical about it. This film not only looked great in black and white, but it was the right choice. It fit this vibe perfectly. That classic film noir feel, it just mastered it perfectly. I mean, I can't imagine this film would be half as successful as it was if it was in color. Not all black and white films are created equal. Not all of them really earn the right to have that look, but this one did. Even if you disregard the color palette or lack thereof, the movie had some awesome camera work. Fantastic intentional compositions, use of reflections, different vantage points that they strategically placed the camera, very long tracking shots. It'd be like a long tracking shot of John David Washington walking around in a circle and the camera's following him going back and forth step for step. And occasionally Zendaya, who's stationed over here, would cross the threshold of the frame. Most of the time it would just track right past her and she would kind of come and go, but occasionally it would just hang out right there as John David Washington kept walking and talking, but it would keep the camera right on her to get her reaction as he's going around and about. And then he'd come back around and the camera would just start following him again like a freaking carnival ride. I absolutely loved it. There may have been only 2 actors in this movie, but the camera felt like a character at times. It helped this film feel like so much more than it was, just this limited subject matter of 2 people. Speaking of these 2 people and their interactions with each other, I thought it was very well written in terms of dialogue. Every fight, every moment of laughter, everything in between, it all flowed very well, which is critical in a movie that essentially just features 2 people talking the whole time. The combination of this juicy dialogue along with some very long tapes really just let these 2 talented actors just chew up scene after scene after scene. Both of these actors just really crush it. Every time they're intimate, you feel it. Every time they're ready to kill each other, you feel it. Every time they're spilling their heart out to each other, you feel it. Every time they want to rip the others out of their chest, you feel it. So much raw emotion embedded into these performances in a movie that frankly needed it to work. That being said, while this movie was a very well-oiled machine, it did have some issues. Most of which circulate around the fact that this movie is way too long for what it is. As mentioned previously, this movie is 2 people in 1 location, and seriously, you can only do so much with that for so long, and this movie definitely makes you feel that. As engaging as a lot of aspects of this movie are, you can only keep people's attention for so long using the formula that they created. This movie is insanely repetitive. They fight, they make up. They fight, they make up. They fight, they make up. So many times that I find it hard to believe that this movie all takes place in one night. It just feels like the movie had no structure, no real arcs. There's no difference between acts 1, 2, and 3, if you could even say that the movie even had acts. At the end of the almost 2-hour runtime, I honestly felt like nothing was was accomplished. Based on what I saw while I was with them, I imagine that the two of them were at each other's throats before this movie started, and they're going to continue being at each other's throats after the fact. I feel like the movie could have been 20 minutes shorter or 20 minutes longer, and I feel like I would have been just as close to that couple as I did regardless. The result of this is a movie that really has no rewatchability. Frankly, I don't think there's another movie that I've ever seen that I did not mind like this one, but had less of a desire to ever watch again. Seriously. Bad movies are one thing. I could watch a movie, hate it, determine that I'm never going to watch again, and that makes sense. But for a decent movie that's so technically sound, it's astounding that I really don't think I'm ever going to want to watch it again. I feel like I soaked up every single ounce of everything that this movie has to offer in one single viewing, and I'm confident in saying that. All in all, I am torn with this one. This was a good movie. In fact, some aspects were great, but the full picture is a little bit more dismissible than I'd hope for a film of this caliber of artistry. I'm going to give Malcolm and Marie on Netflix a B. But that's just me. What do you guys think? Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe to this channel to stay up to date with new reviews coming real soon. Stay safe, thanks for checking in.